Hello, subscribers. Welcome to a live stream of Wizardry 7, Crusaders of the Dark Savant. So I'm playing through my balance mod, and I believe we're on part 11 now. I did play a little bit offline. So, we'll see where we're at. Let's see, I believe we are in, we're in the Trang City, and I had gone down into the dungeon of that area, and I also killed Moo, the ghost, that's YMMU, and I obtained his paw, Moo's paw. So it is cursed, so I can't remove it, but it's a great weapon in Wizardry 7 because it can actually has a 15% chance to petrify an enemy, which I believe is a life force resistance check. So that's pretty sweet. Also found a mustard mace. So the bishop's using that. A Zizka star and a hammer +1. That's what my priest is using now. And the alchemist is still using the stab of witches and wand of mystery. This is going to be interesting, but I gave my fighter the staff of 12 stars, which is kind of odd. But that'll train her staff, and then I have a Lucerne hammer and the offhand. Both of these are extended range weapons. So fighter can do well from there. Ranger's still using spike spear. I did buy a blunderbuss, but I really didn't use it that much. The blunderbuss in my mod has 4 shots before it has to be reloaded. And you can't reload it in combat. You have to wait till afterwards, or you have to do equip and then do it from there. So you basically lose every other turn if you do it. And it does great damage and has a critical hit chance, so it's a great weapon, but I just didn't want to have that hassle. And then my monk found a new crossbow called the Crushing Crossbow. So if I can get some decent quarrels or bolts, I'll give them to him. I also found a Beastmaster sword, but that's short range and Fighter Valkyrie Lord only. So I don't really have a use for that. So that's basically kind of the loot update. And we are level 14 and 15 in the party. So I think I've pretty much exhausted everywhere in the Trang base. Yeah. I think it's pretty much time for me to get out of here. I did not have a thermal pineapple to destroy the Trang's eggs. That is something you can do in this game. You have to get that from the Umpani, and I did not have that, so. Right now I have my monk throwing too. Found some diamond javelins. Not too many of them, but figured I'd use them while I can. Okay, let's see. That's the door I came out of, I believe. So I want to go this direction now. I think this was a secret door I found. I do think it leads out. Guess I've been in here. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Because there are a handful. Yeah, here we go. Observation Control Center. I think I've been in here. Yep. Lots of squeaky doors. Wow, that is a lot of ratkin. Good thing we have falling stars. Freeze all. And earthquake. That'll probably kill them all. Except maybe those leaders. There's some leaders back there. Those guys can be picked up. Yeah, some of them, quite a few resisted earthquake. Because that does missile damage. Falling stars did excellent though. Falling stars is magic damage. And there we go. 23,000 experience. Now, do I have any slots free? Ugh. Priest had one slot maybe. Yeah, that's all I had. Okay. Poison? Feather. Drop. Let's see what the bullets are. Ah, I can't identify them. Spike stones, okay. How many? 20 something? Let's do this. Let's see, bone breaker, corals. I'm trying to save stuff so that I can sell it. Well, for now, we'll just have the priest keep them. I want the monk to use them once he runs out of throwing. Okay, landing port. Yep, okay, I know where we're at now. So I'll get in the teleporter and teleport back to New City. Holy moly. Okay, lots of enemies here. Which ones? Garters. I think these are kind of low. They're not low level, but they're kind of medium. Level 7 or 8 maybe. So I think I will cast some spells to hit them all. Asphyxiate will probably work. Kill a bunch of them. Killed a lot of them. Okay. Rest. Back some of these spell points. Ah, my magic screen isn't on. Holy moly. It's even more. Okay, let's try asphyxiate again. Keepers and garters. Oh, I fizzled asphyxiation. It's an alchemist and they fizzled. That's really bad. Oh, Bishop's gonna bite the dust here. Knocked one out. Okay. Let's actually I'm gonna do falling stars here. Freeze all. Let's try this again. Don't fizzle. Fight. Heal. And do you have a potion? Don't see one. Okay. There we go. So it looks like there's only 3 that can act out of 5. I'll go ahead and heal. This time we'll do Earthquake. Nice. 44,000 experience. Level 15 monk. Nice. Wow. Theosophy's getting up there. And it's time for a new spell. Great. We have Psionic Blast. Yes, we do. Hazard Shield is my new spell that I changed Levitate into. So in both Wizardry 6 and 7, Levitate was such a useless spell. It was hardly ever useful because you didn't fall very often, especially in 6. What I made Hazard Shield do is protect you from all damage that you can get in adventure mode, not effects. So like you can still get poisoned or silenced and those kinds of things, but it will protect you from the damage associated with those. Because most of the time when you get an effect on you, you also take pretty heavy damage. Levitate did nothing for that. Like if you stepped into a gas pocket, for example. So Hazard Shield is actually useful now, but it's still an adventure spell like Levitate was. But I already have it on some of my others, so I'm going to do Psionic Blast. See if we can rest again. Oh. Oh, there's only 3. Okay. Let's do a magic screen. Use this, the fighter. And Zen can use a Psionic Blast now. We'll just do power level 1. Should be enough to hopefully drive some insane. There we go. Nice. That alone is a huge help. Running amok. Okay, let's see if we can finally get our spell points. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Rasputin just happened to be in this room. No, I'm going to be back in New City soon, so I'm not going to sell him anything. See if anything to buy. No, nothing that I want. Lower. Our party has been fighting Lord Galir at Old Funhouse. It is rumored that Trang possesses the dragon map. You possess It is rumored you possess the legend. Trang possessed crystal. Genra has acquired the dragon map. Trang possessed fools. Zenzang acquired crypt. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've been in here. Yeah. This is random. Oh, it's him again. Quit Quit following me, Rasputin. Okay, nothing. Oh, it's another NPC. Oh, it's Shridus. No, I have not. Here we go. This is how we can teleport back to New City. Yep, he's gone now. Oops. Oh, youngers. They're really weak. Wrong door. I'll be curious to see how much money we make off all this stuff I've been dragging around. Okay, let's find Palooks. Here we go. He gives you roughly 50% of the item cost. It's a lot better than Rasputin. I think Rasputin might only give like 25%. Okay, so we have 8,200 right now. I have a Kabuto, gives me 350. This Scarab necklace is worth a ton. 25,000. But I'm not sure I want to sell that. I need to figure out what it does. Pretty sure it's cursed. Okay. Stab of Silence. I don't think I need that anymore. Iron Keys. Don't need that. Okay, that stuff I'll keep. Bottle of Old Jake's. Don't need that. 57. Skull Dagger. Nah. Coal Powder. That does asphyxiation. Power 1. Sell that for 500. Barbed Javelin. Sell. Spike Stones. I'll go ahead and sell them. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Oh, it won't let me sell it though. Okay. We're at 13,000. Most likely a fighter is going to keep all of her stuff. Okay, Ranger. Hiya, bow. The monk can use that, but I still have that stun rod, so I'm going to go ahead and sell this. Stun rod's better. Okay, Scale Mail Mittens will sell. Bassinet sell. I think I'll go ahead and get rid of the blunderbuss for 10,000. Yeah, I'll get rid of the shot too. Bone breakers I can use with that crossbow. Okay, let's see. These searing arrows are actually really strong for rangers. Only rangers can use them. So I think I'll save that for him. Okay, anything else? Beastmaster, like I said, I'm not going to use that. Sell it. Enchanted Mace will sell. Okay, it looks pretty good. We freed up quite a bit of slots there. And we have 28,000 gold. Is he selling anything worthwhile? Heater shield's pretty good, but I think I'm better off dual wielding for now. Okay. Excellent. So now I have to figure out where to go next. Oh, I need to get that Rebus egg while I'm here. Let's see if I can figure out where that's at. I think it's in the same place where you get the boat eventually. Nice. Turning on each other. So many attacks. See, I do have the ability to cure disease now, so I should be able to grab that. Oh, Rebus egg. The other thing is I'm going to try Hazard Shield on that. I don't think it'll protect me from the disease, but it protects you from damage if that thing does any damage. You know, I have not even been in here yet. Oh, he's not here. That's right. Only at nighttime I think he comes around. We're not going to wait around for him. So yeah, I haven't been anywhere on this side. Let's open. My ranger has really good picking ability now. Ratkin bandits. This is going to be a base lord. Just going to drop it. It's not worth enough to be carrying around. Oh, haven't opened this yet. So it is a guardian. Ah, yeah. This would have been handy in the beginning when I was trying to get my monk to be able to use crossbows. Hey, Saztam and Zombo Bobble, welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing tonight? Good to see you guys. So this is going to be a light crossbow. These are probably just regular corals, but... yeah. I mean... I'll keep them in my inventory. Definitely don't need that. Ice shield. That could actually be useful. Let's see. Death Wish is a little dangerous because my skill level's not good enough. Precise bolts. Yeah, we'll keep those. These have a really good chance of hitting. Keep out. Condemned area. Yeah, I've been here. This is where... Yep, that's where Old City is. So we've done all that. So I just missed that one room there. Okay, let's go find the Rebus egg. Here it is. Pretty sure it's in here. Oh man, what do I use to get in here? Is it a coin? Copper penny. Let me see if that's what I use. I don't remember. Okay, good. Coin flips into the grinning jester's mouth and disappears. Cobwebs hang like fine tapestry from the ceiling and walls of the dark museum, creating the illusion of a gossamer maze. Gradually, your eyes adjust to the dimness, and strange silhouettes can be seen in the shadows of the room. Do not touch Wand Majestic. Hovering above marble pedestal are 4 glowing balls. The balls are aligned in form of a pyramid, 3 at the base of the shape of the triangle, and 4th on the top as the peak. The balls do not appear to be connected to the pedestal in any way, and you cannot readily explain how it is that they remain suspended above it. Of even more interest, however, is within the pyramid floats an ornate and dazzling wand, which bathes the area with a radiant aura. Try to take the wand. Yeah. Oh, dang it. I forgot. I wanted to cast Hazard Shield first. Said I don't think that's going to protect me from the disease. But if it does damage, it'll protect me. Feeling around inside the invisible vat of slugs, your fingers detect something hard, round, and slightly heavy. As you grasp the object and retract your hand, something gives you a small burn. So yeah, Tron took no damage there, but he's diseased still. So Hazard Shield protected him from the damage. Quickly pulling your hand from the pyramid, you are relieved to find it still there. The mysterious wand appears quite unaffected by your actions and continues to hover and glow. So you can see the disease condition. I changed it slightly. Before it was just yellow, and now you can see a little bit of blood like on his cheek and forehead to make it look like his flesh is kind of coming off. Okay, now I don't think I ever got Cure Disease spell, but I have a potion. So let's use that. There we go. Nice. Okay. Twisted Heads. Yeah, so this we're not supposed to get into yet because we haven't, finished this part of the quest. So I'll just mess it up on purpose. We'll venture back out. So now that we have the Rebus egg, we could potentially end back in that one cave I was in a long time ago and complete that and get that Wand Majestic. But only if we end up there. I'm not going to purposely try to go there because I don't think I could find it even if I wanted to. Seems like it was if we go to the Umpani base, it was one opposite side, and then I had to go off in the woods. Okay, let's get direction going. And already did hazard shield. Armor plate. Okay. Now let's just find our way out of here. So let's go back out the original way we came into this town. It's this direction. No. That's not right. See if I can find Palooks. Okay. So this is Rosarians. We might as well stop in here while we're here, I guess. Sure, you won't have anything. There's the auto pistol. Anointed flail. Claymore. Another Lucerne hammer. Fine beard war axe. It's a great offhand axe. Okay. Yep. Okay, now let's see if I can find my way out here. I think if I go straight here, yeah, here we go. So we'll try to, we should definitely be able to make our way through the flowers now. I just have to know which way to go. I've gone, okay, this is the way that I just came from. I think it might be that direction then. Yeah, here we go. We should be able to walk through this. Wow. Even at level 15, I couldn't walk through that. That's crazy. There is a way you can deal with that, which I've shown on my stream before. As long as you have the stamina spell. And enjoy the nice music. Okay. We awoke and have no idea how we got here. Hazard shield. Go. Okay. Towering trees loom heavy and dark, and the forest dons a creepy shroud as if whisper beware. This is the beginning, I believe. Let's see. Been here? Yeah. Okay, let's make our way back to the road there. $73 experience. Okay. That's where we came from. So we want to go this way again. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to spin till we wake up. You can't try to rest here or you'll fall asleep. Oh. Oh, it's Tritus probably. Yeah. No, I have not killed Rodan. There we go. Okay, we want to go north, north, spin again. Bishop woke up. Okay. North. Whoa. 4 fell asleep that time. Granger. Cast a fireball. I am being stalked by these guys. Oh, he's asleep. Okay. Just double check and make sure he doesn't have a map yet. No, he doesn't. Wow, he's selling death bombs. 4,140 each. So they're expensive. Of course, I don't need them at this point. Because I actually have death bomb, I believe, on my alchemist. She uses asphyxiation a lot anyway. Go away, Rasputin. Okay, north. Here we go. You see, we're almost through. We don't want south. Here we go. Stare agape at a large gray object which suddenly swooshes in ahead of you. Low Mothras. Insane, insane, insane. Level 16 fighter. Nice. Okay. Scribe's 44. It's getting up there. Okay, we want to go north. Nobody fell asleep. There we go. Now we're going to go west. I think I'll do a falling stars here. I don't know what kind these are. Yeah, they're tougher. north. And make sure too many don't fall asleep. Oh, seen him for a while. Zenzang. I wonder if he has the map. Suppose it was rumored he had one of the maps. Oh, he doesn't. I could actually afford this flame staff now. It's 26,000. But I really don't want to do that because I'm trying to save my money for the maps. Lore. Rasputin has been looking for your party. Yeah, he's found us multiple times. Our party has been looking for your party. Our party has acquired the crypt map. Brother Silver's dead. In fact, I had to fight his ghost. Yeah, that was something I forgot to tell you guys. That was a hard battle, but I killed him without dying, without losing anybody. But man, that was a rough one. North again, yeah. Hey, Mr. Spock, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? It's going well. It's Friday night, right? Unless you have a job where you have to work on Saturday. Fridays are always great. It's starting to go to a new area. Okay, north. North. Okay, we made it out of those. Thank goodness. Stag Weevil. Hey there, little gremlin. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? He says, you got a sweet, nostalgic of a game here. Yo, yes. You a big Wizardry 7 fan? It is an amazing game, in my opinion. Which is why I created the mod for it. Get even more replayability out of it. Okay, do direction, armor plate, and we'll do hazard shield. Just in case. Got little gremlin icons, emoticons that you stitch together. Little gremlin looks good. Okay, so I think we'll run across Janet up here somewhere. If I remember right. I thought, oh, maybe we already did that. Hold on, let me look. Unless I didn't go far enough yet. No, I have not been here. I probably didn't walk far enough yet. Whoa. Oh, there's only 6. It looked like there was a whole army of them. Big falling stars. Freeze all. Earthquake. Mr. Spock says, I'll have to go back and look at 6 in your videos. I don't remember how it compares visually. It's EGA instead of VGA. So it's very, very similar layout and everything, but only 16 colors instead of 256 like this. But some people actually like the artwork in 6 better. It's a little bit different. I think it's cool, but yeah, you'll just have to go back and check it out and see what you think. I think it looks great for EGA. Okay, are we going to run into Janet? Ah, boy, am I glad we have these mass area of effect spells. When I see 4 groups like that, it's like, oh man, let's do an earthquake again. Okay, Zen, whip, out of javelins. Mr. Spock says, okay, I like the look of this visually. I think if I remember, the EGA seemed a bit more grainy. Yes, definitely. But I did love what the Gold Box games did with EGA. Yeah, it's definitely lower resolution, grainy looking. Okay, I think now I have all these cores. Let's start using the crushing crossbow. Precise bolts. There we go. Aaron's might be coming up to the area. Row 1 insane. Wow, these have more hit points. I wonder if these are Luna. I bet they are. Turn 1 to stone. Yamu's paw. Wow, they survived that. Oh, it's a glow mothra. Okay. Yeah, they took a beating there. Normally they wouldn't be able to survive a round like that, but they did. Okay, this might be it. I keep saying that, and it's not. I thought Janet was over here somewhere. I must be confusing it with a different area. I'll follow this road for a bit and see where it leads. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I wasn't going crazy. It was just a lot farther along than I thought it was. A group of brown spidery creatures are flailing with long... Oh, it went too far. Suddenly, between them... It's going too fast for me to be able to read it. So this is Janet, I know. Appears to be a woman, heavily outnumbered. Do you wish to join her in the battle against Spider-Man? Yes. Okay. Falling stars. I don't know what kind of terrain these are. I'll try to paralyze them. And let's just do a big asphyxiation. Sonic blast on these two. I think I'm doing total overkill here, but we'll see. They survived. Some of them survived. Oh, these have psi rods. Yeah, these are more dangerous. Paralyzed did not work. Wow, Kron's dead. I think there's one left. Okay. I really do want to bring him back. I'll try to use the Amulet of Life. It'll probably fizzle. But I have several options here. I know I have a Resurrection Scroll too. Go ahead and heal. We'll have the fighter use the Resurrection Scroll. Hopefully one of them will work. Little Gremlin says, I thought Spider-Man was a good guy. Yeah. Yeah, not these Spider-Man. These are bad, bad, bad. Well, depends on how you view the story. There's different aspects to this story. Polearm. The battle over, the pilot girl returns to her fiery vessel. Okay. Thy courage is great and thy arms strong. I am Janet of the Hellzoid Legion, defender of the city of the sky. I was sent by the great queen of our tribe, Dame Kulai. We await the coming of the Crusaders. I give you my banner. Okay. Carry with you that Hellzoid to know you're a friend. Present it to Dame Kulai in the city of sky, and she will welcome you. Saying farewell, the pilot girl Janet throttles her crimson steed and goes zooming off. Okay. Change our position here. I see how you are. Attacking me while I'm paralyzed. Get back at you yet. Mr. Spock says the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders of Wizardry have arrived. Yeah. Okay. Let me save it real quick. Oh. Holy moly. Good thing my alchemist is alive and awake. Wow, that's ridiculous how many are here. Let's cast Sonic Blast on this group. Earthquake got a lot of them. Running amok. I killed each other. There we go. Okay. One left. All right, let's hope that I can rest this time. I need to get rid of the paralysis. I don't think I have cure. No, I don't have it on my alchemist. Oh, I did get it on my ranger. Okay. There we go. Now the bishop can cure a priest. Okay. All is well. Okay, full spell points, full stamina. Ready to move on now. Hazard shield. Follow the road, see where we end up. And if it's not anywhere interesting, then I'll go off-road into some of the woods. Bantari. Actually, let's do... Oh, Gremlin says, how long since you last went through this game? Really? You mean like all the way through? I streamed all the way through this. Let me think. I'm guessing 2 years ago. 2 to 3 years ago. I beat 6. I transferred those characters to 7. I beat 7. I transferred those characters to 8. And then I beat 8. So, yeah, it was probably 3 years ago that I had done the 7. It's a long game. It takes a lot of effort, too. It's babbling and foaming from the insanity. Drop some meat. Get some stamina back. Meat, where are you? This is faster. Eat. There we go. Yeah, I have a playlist of Wizardry 7, so somewhere there in the playlist it'll have that whole run in there. Okay, these are kind of dangerous. Let's do falling stars on them. Try to freeze all and asphyxiate. Yeah, it is a long game, but it's a great game. Yeah, when I beat it, I beat the vanilla. I was not playing my mod. So this time I'm hopefully gonna beat it with my mod and then be fun. Shritus again. Nope, sorry Shritus. Still have not killed Rodan. Curious where I'm gonna end up. I don't remember. Okay, these have a lot of hit points, and I think they can critically hit us. So I'm going to spend some spell points. Let's do a tsunami. Mr. Spock says, I consider DFortae a pro gamer when it comes to Wizardry. Oh, well, thank you, but no, I am definitely not. The only one that I feel like I could qualify myself as a true expert is Wizardry 8. I am definitely not an expert in 7. 6? Even 6, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I'm advanced. I don't have everything known and, memorized and all that. But I know 6 a lot more than 7. But thank you for the vote of confidence. 5, I know even less. And 4, even less than that. But I've beaten all of them. I have beaten all of those. I still got to do 1 through 3. I have not touched those. Okay, let's see what this place is. Is this the Dane Tower? What? This is the Trang City? Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know you can get to this spot going this other direction. That's interesting. Because I came across this a totally different way. Well, this is really not where I want to be. Let's check out the woods. See if we can find anything interesting here. Mr. Spock says, fair enough, but I will give you 6, 7, and 8, given your attention to detail. Thank you. It's really hard to be an expert in any of these old school RPGs, without almost playing those exclusively for like really long periods, multiple times. There's just so much to them. It's not like a simple platformer, Okay, falling stars. Freeze all. Earthquake. Silver key, iron key. Oh, bishop leveled up. Nice. $14 Holy moly. Okay, let's get thaumaturgy all the way up and then we'll work on theology. So I could get nuclear blast now, which I probably will. Blizzard's great, but not nearly as good as nuclear blast. Let's see. Yep. Nuclear blast it is. Firestorm's great too. In my mod especially. Long battles later in the game, that could actually be huge. Okay. Oh, Gremlin says, did you ever try Grimrock, made from the same guy with Wizardry assets, and he put on a few years ago. Guy was kind of loco, yet I wanted to like his release. Sadly, I did not. Yes, I have played that. Not Grimrock, right? But Grimoire. Are you talking about Grimoire? Because Grimrock is a different game. I get those confused too. But yeah, I know who you're talking about, and yes, I have played it. I actually uploaded a few videos of it to my patrons on my Patreon account, but I did not get very far because in the beginning they kind of lock you into where you have to go. So I think I played maybe three. I recorded 2 or 3 episodes. I do want to get back to that because it was interesting. It's very, very detailed, like very complicated, but that kind of put me off when I was forced to go through that really narrow beginning. But yeah, I did not make it very far. Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. It had interesting classes and races. And the action system was pretty cool. It was different. But yeah, it was complicated. That's one of those games that you would have to invest a ton of time in to really get used to it. And then you'd probably love it, you know. I don't know. I'm hoping that'll be the case for me personally. Okay, that's a circle. But yeah, I think the developer's name was Clive, maybe? An Australian? All right, nuclear blast. Let's try it. Power 2. Yeah, good damage just for even for power level 2 there. So now we can hit all enemies with fire-based resistance, magic-based resistance, and missile-based resistance. And then we have death spells that are life force based and air based. So Death Wish is life force resistance, and asphyxiation is air based. And then in my mod, all monsters get a death resistance check on top of that, which is essentially, depending on the monster type, but on average, most are 4% death resistant per level. So like if you're fighting a level 10 monster like a dragon, and it doesn't have any boosted death resistance, they'll be 40% resistant on top of the other check. So that really nerfs critical hits. Because in the vanilla version of this, critical hits were way too strong. Okay, do you have a map for us? No, still no map. Okay. Yeah, Cleveland Mark Blakemore, Mr. Spock says. Yeah, I thought his name was Cleve. I didn't know his full name was Cleveland. Yeah, that would be an interesting guy to interview. Hear his side of the story, because we've all heard, you know, some kind of negative things. It'd be interesting to hear his side. Nuclear blast. Asphyxiate. Overkill. So far, nothing memorable in the forest. But that's how this game is. You can just stumble across like a whole cave or dungeon in the woods. I'm just not familiar enough with all the woods to know where those are at. I thought I had Death Wish. I guess I don't. Oh, I picked Resurrection instead. That's right. Okay. Little Gremlin says, when you did these Wizardry 6, 7, and 8, do you recall what PC you had back then? I had a Power Mac. For the first time, I could run Windows 3.1. Only in the vaguest sense, Little Gremlin. I'll have to associate it to a year. So I think when I played this was 1992, maybe? I got it the year it came out. And Wizardry 6, I think I got in like maybe 90 or 91. So I would have been 13. It would have been roughly 8th grade, I think. 7th or 8th grade when I got Wizardry 6. So at that time, I probably would have had a 286. Actually, I may have had a 46. I either had a 286 or a 46 at that time. I don't remember for sure. My uncle owned a computer shop, so he built computers. So I probably had one that he had built. The first computer we did get, I remember though, it was a type called Leading Edge, and it was super expensive. It was like I think it was an 8088. And gosh, I want to say it was, my dad had paid like somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 for it back in the mid 80s. I mean, just think how expensive that was. It's crazy. Mr. Spock says there's a recent game called, Legend of Grimrock. That's the one that a lot of people confused Grimoire with Grimrock. I did too, because the name seems so similar. Yeah, I've seen that. Zastam says this seems like a 46 era game. Yeah, I know it was 90, so Wizardry 6 was like 90. So yeah, it was either a 386 time, but I skipped 386. I went from a 286 to 486. So I probably did have a 486. I don't remember for sure though. Little Gremlin says back when computers had a physical turbo button. Yes. Yes, I remember that. Like we would ever turn it off, you know? We always just left it on. Yeah, that was funny. Totally forgot about that, but yep, you reminded me. Good old turbo button. Yes, Wizardry 6 was EGA, says Tim. Wizardry 7, which was only a year later, was not. It was VGA. And just 2 years before that, 2 or 3 years before that, Wizardry 5 was CGA. In 1987-ish or 88, it was CGA because they waited so long to release it. They stalled it on purpose because Wizardry 4 had such a bad reputation. So it got released a lot later than it was supposed to. It was CGA at that time. It was just so far behind. It was still a really cool game, but man, everything else was, moving along. EGA, VGA coming out shortly. That all happened so rapidly too. Stamp says EGA equals 286 to me. Yeah, that's pretty true. Not exclusively, but yeah, in general. There was that period of time where you had the 386 where it was, you didn't know what you were going to get there. You could even have CGA, but normally you didn't with the 386. You could have VGA, you could have VGA. And of course, Super VGA was coming out right about the same time. It all happened so quickly. Okay. Now, have I gone this way? Yes, I have. Okay, we're going to go this direction then. Stam says, hopefully Wizardry 5 was better on other platforms. I don't know. I have not played it on other platforms. I'm going to speculate it probably was not that much better. Mr. Spock says, I went straight from an 8088 with CGA to a 486 DX2 50 megahertz with the SVGA card. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that did that, Mr. Spock. Because you spent so much money, on the other one. You had to hold on to it. Stamp says, yeah, I skipped 386, but my uncle had a 386. I played on a lot, and when I was visiting. Packard Bell, yeah. That's funny. Standing out over the treetops. Oh, here we go. The Great Dane Tower. This will be great. This place is difficult, so this will be a great place to go next. If I can even get in here, I don't remember what I need. We'll see. Closer to the ominous tower, you feel a bony chill that seems to descend from its looming surface. Dionysius, Great Tower of Dane. Looks like I might build that, or... Inside the entrance of the tower, an utter lack of warmth tells you as much about the Fellowship of Dane as any Dane himself. It does not strike you that they are likely to provide visitors with any sense of hearty welcome, and indeed you suspect they'll be quite perplexed by any notion akin to showing one a good time. Then again, perhaps it won't be dull after all. No, it's not going to be dull, but we have our hazard shield protecting us, guys. This spell is going to be great in here. Mr. Spock says, my dad had a 386 work laptop with monochrome VGA, though. I kept that for years because his work let him keep it. It was an Epson, which I imagine is hard to come by now. Yeah, I bet it is. No, Gremlin says, I recall one Christmas circling what items I wanted in the Sears catalog, but telling my mom, when I grow up, I want to work at Gateway Computers so I can afford one of the cow-themed computers. That's funny. Oh yeah, good old Sears catalog. I got to keep my eye out for buttons and stuff. Let me check the rest of these before I go that direction. There's a button. Okay. Mr. Spock says, Gateway used to be a giant. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, just think how many companies have gone under like that. Tons. Just how it is. Oh, I need to cast my adventure spells again. You guys remember, what was it called? They kind of had a bad reputation. It was a computer manufacturer. Oh, I can't remember their name now. They were really popular, like in the early to mid 90s. Actually, I think I have one. E-Machine. That's what it is. E-Machine, yeah. I have a case of an E-Machine sitting right here. No, not Packard Bell, but that was a good guess. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the E-Machines were like super cheap. Packard Bell didn't have a great reputation either, Saztam says. Yeah, it's true. Low Gremlin says, how likely is it that games like this could be played via iPhone or Android? You could play this on that. Games like this, the user interface was designed for buttons, as you can see at the bottom there. As long as you have small fingers or a large tablet, you could play this. Just got to get an emulator. Mr. Spock says they were dirt cheap, so I was cool with them. Yeah. There you go. Creeping cruds. Oh, Temple of the Initiate already? Okay. Hmm. I know there's a lot of traps in here. On a ruined block arising from the floor rests a tiny golden urn. Yeah, I don't remember what I need to put in there. I think maybe Jonga powder. But this hazard shield will hopefully protect me from a lot of this damage. Okay, Danes. Let's do some lightning. Tsunami. They're initiates. They're probably pretty weak. Let's do power 1. Yeah, these are really weak. Okay. Oh, Gremlin says, worked a whole summer as a minion building duplexes just to order a 46 from Tiger Direct. And I actually got to keep in my room. That's cool. It's a good story. You earned it, you know? That's great. Mr. Spock says, I think it would be awesome to see one of these layouts built in the real world. I'd like to see how big the structures would be. Yeah, could you imagine? I guess you could kind of do it with virtual reality, Mr. Spock. If you had a really good headset you could put on, you know, and then walk through it. Kind of be like experiencing it. Maybe. I don't know. Sastam says my 46 is actually a 3 to 6. Oh, are you missing? Well, so it's not a 46 SX you're saying? It's just a straight 386? Yeah, when I got a 46, mine was not a DX, it was an SX. I got it really, really early. Pretty much when it had just come out on the market. Okay. Here we go. Let's watch this protect us. Spray of choking gas jets from the ceiling engulfing around. Protected by hazard shield. So we did not take damage. We just got nauseated. So that's awesome. Such an improvement over levitation. I don't know if you can notice, but the green on the nauseate's a lot more green. It's one of the modifications I made too. Because it was always too close to disease for me. Sastam says it's a 46 SLC2, an IBM 386 chip with 46 bits bolted onto it. That's funny. Oh, wow. Yeah, that time we took damage. You can't rest here. Because my shield had worn off. Extending from the wall is a marble altar adorned with graceful and decorative carvings. What do I put here? Do I even have what I need? I don't think I do. It's not this, is it? I don't even know where you use that. No. It's none of that. Bone chromes and brushes. I don't think that's it. Say it's an idol of some kind or something. What's he doing down here? It's pretty fast despite its shortcomings, says Tim. That's cool. And Mr. Spock says sometimes it's more fun to play with making computers. Yeah. Yeah, they're interesting, that's for sure. Get rid of the nausea here. Okay. So yeah, I need something to get in here. Hmm. Okay, hazard shield, do your thing. Nobody got nausea at that time. Little Gremlin says, what happened if you went to import this save data to Wizardry 8, but they had no candle remaining? Oh, I've never tried that, so I think it's fine. Wizardry 8 doesn't have age. So I don't think that's ever a problem. Like I don't think you can make it where you can't resurrect your characters. I think originally maybe you could, and maybe they changed that feature. I'm speculating. But yeah, I don't think you can perma die in this game by aging too much. So we should be able to transfer just fine to 8. I probably should start searching every square because there might be something on the ground. All the NPCs are just wandering around the Dane Tower. That's just so goofy. Okay, golden urn. That's to disarm the trap, I believe. There were some other rooms. Let me go back into those rooms. Three of the NPCs are down here. Still no map. Okay. Rasputin, leave me alone. I haven't used a scroll for a while on my fighter. Let's do it. Fizzled. This didn't backfire. Sanity? That might come in handy. Fighter should definitely be able to cast that. That's only a level 2 spell, I believe. Okay, so we're back out here. Let's search. I don't know if there's anything on the ground here or not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this might be where I can get some Jenga powder. Sure. Oh. I guess I have to say no. Mr. Spock says Tron needs a light cycle. Time to make a new mod. Oh. I thought when you said Tron, I was thinking of the movie. Okay, this time we'll say no. Okay. Yes, I do. Of course, here it comes. He's going to beg for some money. And what token of thy faith does ye offer my children? Gold? Truly he doth already see. There we go. Yeah, he wants money. 100 gold pieces. Yes. Fair offering then. Okay, what's he selling? Yeah, there's that Jenga powder. I wonder. I need to sell something to free up some space. Okay. Sneeze powder. Tylite stones. Those are actually really good. Jenga powder. Okay. I don't know if I need holy water. Better buy it just in case. I just don't remember. A guy from the Blue Man Group, Mr. Spock says. Well, Gremlin says, offer the blue guy some suntan lotion. Leave. Okay. So I don't know if when I put that stuff in those urns, if that'll cause a door to open. I thought it just protected me from traps, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, just fight. Okay. Check the other rooms. I'm not missing something. Hmm. Crush. Potentially use that. Let's see. Hmm. We'll take the deadly poison and give that to the monk because he has good throwing. Ah, another encounter. These should be weak. While that's running, let me let my dog out real quick, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's see, where are we at? Still trying to find a way to get in there. I'm guessing I don't have the right item. Let's see, did I go in there? That one went different. Okay. Yeah, I searched all that. So this is the way to get back to where I was. Okay. Try to use that jungle powder. Still remember. Do you have the map yet? No, you don't. Okay, what happens if we use it? Sprinkle the silvery powder into the urn. Soon a trace wisp of smoke arises from it. So yeah, that disarmed the trap. Let me see if I put it in here. I don't think you do, but oh, you can. Okay. No, it didn't go in there. That was the same description. Okay. Hmm. Oh, it did. There is a gate open here. I'd missed this last time. Entering the antechamber, a gaseous swirling ether condenses. For me. All who accept the trial of the fellowship must prove themselves worthy. Spirit of Dane attacks. Okay. Hmm. Conjure. Armor melt. Hmm. I just don't know how resistant it is. Let's do a high draining cloud. Wanda, fight, fight. Sonic blast. Let's see what happens here. That was it. It had less than 40 hit points. Huh. Can't identify that. Okay. Let's cast the spell on it. Oh, Ashes of Diam. Okay. Maybe that's what we put in that other one now. It's either Kiss of Death or Toxic Gas. Who's Toxic Gas? Golden Idol. Okay. Maybe that's what we put on that other altar then. Somebody. There we go. Cure lesser conditions. Wow, that's strong nausea. Holy moly. Wow. Finally. Okay, let's try it. Idle. Place golden idol upon the mount. So that probably opened that gate here. Yep. Let's go ahead and rest. Mr. Spock says, there must be a treasure chest monopoly in this universe. They're clearly all made by the same company. That's funny. It would be interesting, you know, to see old treasure chests and see what they were like. Like pirate treasure chests in the real world, you know? Same old, same old. Hazard shield. Greetings, brethren of the fellowship. Ye have passed the test of the temple of the initiate. Fellowship blesses ye with the new title of disciple. Yeah, now will you accept the dues? Yes. You have done well. Okay. Well, guys, this is probably a great place to stop for tonight. That was great progress. I'm going to try to refrain from playing any of this offline so that we can go through the whole Dane Tower on a stream. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did, and thanks for the chat. I will see you guys next time.